Welcome to Talent Alchemy. And this is my fourth episode on the Skills Ecosystem series. And we'll learn about our partner Cobrainer today. Cobrainer is the innovative skills platform that turns scattered job and talent data into live AI and data-driven job and skills architecture. And today I have Daniel Weis from Cobrainer, who leads their global strategic sales organization, and he's scaling Cobrainer's global impact. He's leading Cobrainer's enterprise expansion into the US market, building the partner network and the go-to-market infrastructure. Daniel, welcome to Talent Alchemy.
Thanks, Rinky, for inviting, and thanks for the warm introduction words. I'm really glad to be here and looking forward to this conversation with you.
Absolutely. So, Daniel, to set the stage for our audience, can you share a bit about Cobrainer as an organization, what your focus is on, and what markets you serve, and also your role in the company?
Yeah, my name's Daniel. We are mainly based in Munich, Germany. That's where our headquarters is. That's also where I am based. And I've been with the company now for 2 years. And essentially what we do is we build job and skill architecture. We build skills and job data as a foundation for SuccessFactors customers. We do this with our own core technology, our skills graph, with the help of AI. So the job and skill architecture, our core product, that's basically the fundamental thing for so many things companies are asking us for skill management. Like you want to leverage internal mobility, learning, but also compensation and compliance topics. So there's like a broad landscape of use cases we tackle within the SAP landscape. And yeah, happy to tell you a little bit more about later.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I mean, Cobrainer has been around for quite some time. So, what problem were you originally created to solve? I know you have been partnered with SAP for a long time.
Yeah, so actually, Cobrainer goes back to 2012, and the company originally was called Neural Network Technology. And our founder and CEO, who was also in previous episodes from your
Yes.
podcast, he founded a company with co-founders. And so our name and also our technology, that's basically our DNA. So AI has always been like our main DNA. We use obviously also the new AI models, but created 2012 the Cobrainer Skills Graph, which is our core technology still today. That's an automated technology-driven method that continuously screens public data sources and recognizes skills out of that. And over the last 14 years, we've redefined the technology, and of course we also implement new LLMs. But the skills graph as a core technology, that was basically the original solution we provided. But we experienced a few challenges with that. Maybe leads us to our current product, because skills itself, it's hard to implement for enterprises. And that's why 2 years ago, and this is where we are known for, created our job and skill architecture tool.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk a bit about that, Daniel. I mean, to summarize your core capabilities today, especially in the context of SAP SuccessFactor, what are the key areas where you add the most value, and how do your solutions integrate with success factors like Talent Intelligence Hub, learning, or talent management?
Yeah, I also brought one slide for that
Yes.
specifically to explain. But to kick that off, maybe why are companies contacting us? I would share a slide. So sharing my screen now.
Absolutely.
So to show our core capabilities within the SuccessFactors content, let me take one step back and explain the reasons why a company is getting in touch with us. And since many of you might be listening to the audio only, I'll try to describe the visuals as good as I can. So right now we are seeing 4 pillars that drives companies to work with us. First is the migration from SAP HCM to SAP SuccessFactors. And with this, I also want to include the Talent Intelligence Hub activation, or even more precise, get the up-to-date technology and modules SuccessFactors provides. And companies, need to be ready for the new technology, they need clean data as a foundation. The second pillar, that's basically reorganization in one word. So business needs to move in a certain direction, restructuring, growth, mergers. And for that, you obviously need a solid baseline of your status quo. You need to know what do we actually have as a status quo in terms of skills. What does our company actually needs in terms of tasks? The third point, that's agentification, and that's quite a new topic. And this is about bringing AI agents into the organizations. So it means identifying tasks and processes across the whole company that can be automated. So also for that, you need granular data, obviously. And the fourth pillar you can see is the compliance topic. And like for the European listeners, this is quite common in these days because there is the EU pay transparency law, which will become reality beginning of June
Yes.
this year.
Yeah.
But compliance topic also applies, for instance, for US companies. Yeah, you need to show different pay ranges and for job postings. So also for that, you need the granularity of job levels and like the difference between the job levels and the pay gradings.
Yes. Yeah.
And just a few weeks ago, I was in San Francisco, and maybe a side story to the third point, agentification, but because that really impressed me. One day I was driving to San Francisco downtown, and like every 30 seconds, I saw a new ad by an AI company. Like I drove for 15 minutes probably, and like every 30 seconds there was a new AI company. And to be honest, I did not hear of the most of the companies I saw. So that really showed that there are so many new AI companies hitting the market,
Yes.
and therefore I think like AI strategy offices in every enterprises, that's quite overwhelming, right? Because
Yeah.
like you don't even know which agent you should buy first.
Right.
And if you break down all your tasks, all your jobs into skills and granular tasks and quantify that, then you can also think about an AI strategy and really look what could be the best efficiency booster. Where do I really need the agents and not randomly get any agents?
Yes, and I love this, Daniel. I mean, this is amazing. You have four pillars. You got everything. For example, you were talking about the transformation, the HR suite transformation, the business growth, and what I really love about is the agent, the agentic portion of it, and also compliance, which is really important today. Currently, the AI summit is going on in India, and I have been following that. And all these leaders, they are talking about compliance, ethics, and how in a world of AI, that is very important. So I'm really glad that what you are focused on today.
Yeah. And for all that four areas, you basically need granular data for jobs, break jobs down in tasks and skills. And like leading to your main question, you can basically, or we can basically see on the second slide, and this is, to be honest, hard to explain for the audio only listeners, but I'll try. So we basically see Cobrainer down below as the underlying platform that delivers data and injects job and skills data into Job Profile Builder and Talent Intelligence Hub.
Uh-huh.
So we as Cobrainer, we are the single source of truth for jobs, skills, and competency data. And we have our SAP certified integration flows, which are available via SAP BTP, Business Technology Platform Integration Suite. And through that, we inject data continuously into Job Profile Builder, and all those skills and competencies across the whole job architecture will then eventually deliver to Attribute Library, Talent Intelligence Hub. And with that, you can use like a few examples are mentioned here: growth portfolio, performance development, recruiting, succession, but also learning and workforce planning. You can use the whole SAP landscape which is basically, or most of them are basically skills based and will become even more skill based in the future. And yeah, that's basically how you can see Cobrainer in the collaboration with SuccessFactors. And there are multiple use cases why companies are coming to us, and a few of them you can see here on the slide.
Yeah. And tell me a bit more about that AI Skills Hub, Daniel. So that is your core product, and you keep it dynamic, right? When you create a skills ontology, it is more dynamic. It is not static. So you scrape the job board, or how do you keep it live?
Yeah, great question. So basically, that's what we did since 2012. So we created an automated system that screens public resources industry-wide, worldwide, and automatically detects new rising skills. So there's then obviously a workflow that the data object has to go through. And in the end, we have our skills engineering team, and they humanly take care of it to finally decide, is this really a skill or is this not a skill? And then embed this skill in our skills graph. And our skills graph in total is today around 170,000 skills, and all those skills are linked with each other. So we have more than 100 million skill relationships. And for every skill, we have a unique description, we have a unique proficiency level description, and all that is basically linked to a job profile in our job and skill architecture. And like this is how the job profile builder can ideally benefit from it. We import the job and skill profile, which is basically one profile, one single profile into job profile builder. And that is from our understanding like the only possible way to start skill management within SuccessFactors if you combine the role with skills.
Right. Yeah. And Daniel, what do you advise your customers? How frequently they need to update that skills ontology or the skills cluster?
Yeah.
Is that an ongoing partnership once they start with your product?
Clear answer here. That depends. So that can be once a year, that can be twice a year. But the reality is, and I think that's your point, job and skills data is changing from time to time. And like working with Cobrainer and building the initial job and skill architecture, that's not a one-time project. It's a continuous project. We continuously update the data in our platform. That's nothing you need manually do. Of course, users can manually change data, but we give like certain suggestions how a certain role develop when there's like a new technology, for instance. Then you get a suggestion, hey, do you want to add this as a new skill maybe or not, as an example. And that's basically the core. Because like if you implement skills management with all those modules you can have in SuccessFactors, and then you have thousands of employees using that, data needs to be up to date. And to build it
Absolutely.
today is a complete difference how the architecture probably looks in 1 year or 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And I typically suggest my customers too that you don't want to use a library which is static over the time. So it's always good to have that dynamic AI driven skills library. So, twice a year, if not at least once a year, is what I would suggest my customers to update that library and have a continued partnership.
It's less effort compared to doing it completely from scratch every 3 years, for instance. It's less effort and less costs, obviously, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, where do you see Cobrainer playing a biggest role post implementation? So, at the beginning, you can come implement, set the foundation, the job architecture, the skills ontology. You can tag the skills to job, um, even tag the skills to task if that is needed. But then post implementation, other than keeping it updated, is there any other area where you can help?
Yeah, in a project phase, we do differentiate between initial job and skill architecture and then post implementation. But basically, it's the continuous updating of the platform which we are doing. And users who also have access to Cobrainer can actively use the platform, use AI features if they want, update job and skill profiles to keep to keep the data up to date.
Oh, that is amazing. So the admins who are responsible for it, they can actually self-manage it without that dependency.
100%. So basically, we have a core project team in the beginning
Okay.
who is like setting the job and skill architecture up with us. And then, and this is a crucial point, then you can add so-called reviewers. You can add subject matter experts from your whole organization because, like, for very specific roles, you as an HR core team, you might have not the expertise to um, um, finally decide, is this profile really ready to publish to SuccessFactors or not? And by inviting those subject matter experts, you not only get the profiles to 100% ready status, you also get the organizational buy-in. Because, for instance, if they then later use it for their performance talks with employees, they obviously accept the data if they were involved in the process beforehand.
Um, I think we talked about the core capability. Let's talk about some customer stories, some success. Is there a specific customer engagement that really captures what Cobrainer does best, from strategy through execution? And what made that story stand out?
So I would actually like to share two scenarios if we have the time
Yeah,
for that,
absolutely. Yeah.
because they represent
The
very
more the
different.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they represent very different reasons why customers come to us. But
Okay.
the foundation, like the job and skill architecture, is basically the same. And the first one ties back to the second pillar I just showed in the first slide. So business restructuring. So we're working with a large global enterprise with tens of thousands of employees, and they need to shift significant parts of its workforce due to restructuring and due to market adaptation. So people working in certain areas need to be moved to another areas. And you now have the option, do that randomly and by gut feeling, or you first define, okay, what do we actually need in terms of tasks, in terms of skills at business area XYZ. And
Uh-huh.
then you can actively look for people who fit perfectly into that role to make the most out of the restructuring process.
Okay. Okay.
So this is basically the second pillar we tackled with that customer, or we are still tackling that because like it's a huge restructuring process.
Yeah.
Yeah, it brings us again to the job and skill architecture as a foundation, which the customer has built up for that to really steer the restructuring and not do it randomly.
Was there any, I mean, what did success look like? Was there any measure where you can measure success?
There are like different measurements you can make. For that customer, we have implemented an ROI calculation because they needed to report that to their business lines. What do we actually also get in terms of ROI? So yeah, we can measure what does it bring in terms of numbers if you do that with an AI system, but also we can calculate savings you can generate by using different modules in, for instance, success factors, by using that and by leveraging that with the data. And there's, for instance, an employee that develops into a new role, and by doing this he finds his passion and adds even more value to the team as before. And as people obviously develop during their corporate life, that's a crucial point to mention internal career mobility. So that's also how you could measure a success, but obviously the ROI is also very important.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great point.
Um,
Yeah. Go ahead. You had one more story to share.
yes, the second story.
Yeah.
The second story is basically about compliance, the fourth pillar. And you also mentioned that it's like everyone is speaking about it.
Yes.
That one, I cannot even call it a single customer story, especially, I mean, we are European based also. We are seeing a wave of companies that are coming to us and they're quite overwhelmed about the requirements. And also a few companies, maybe they heard of that, but I ignore it for now because like clock's ticking. And that's really where we can like build job and skill architecture as a foundation for that within weeks, especially if they have existing data already in place. And this is the case for most of the companies. They have certain parts of a job architecture. They do have skill or competency frameworks in Excel spreadsheets, in PowerPoint, and also they have, for instance, grading information, which is also very important. And out of that content, we can use that, infer it into our system, and enrich our so-called knowledge backgrounds in the background. And then when we draft, or our system drafts the first job and skill architecture for the customer, we have already a very, very good fit, even when we have to kick off. So time's ticking. You need to start now if you want to be able to report all those and requirements which are coming by compliance.
Yeah, start now. That's the main story. And this is amazing. I want to, if my listeners, for my listeners, I want to highlight that when we talk about our open skill ecosystem partners, there is a misconception that all the partners do is provide a skills ontology, provide job architecture, tag skills to job. But that's not it. In case of Cobrainer, you are helping with HR transformation. You also help with business restructuring, creating those agents and compliance, which is very important today, especially when we talk about AI. So it's just more than providing content for Talent Intelligence Hub. So that's amazing. Daniel, what would you suggest that if other customers are listening today and they are very early in their journey, what is one practical takeaway from that experience that could help them to avoid some of those common pitfalls?
I would say start small. Start with, for instance, a pilot phase. Pick a certain, for instance, job family business area where you have really a high demand in creating the data, because this specific area really, really needs this. Then you also have the organizational buy-in, because stakeholders, the SMEs, the subject matter experts, they are also willing to contribute to the solution.
Solution.
And by doing that and by building up the data for instance, a job family, you can really do that. I mean, that does not take a long time. You can do this in a few weeks. And also, you can integrate the data, whether it's the testing instance from SAP SuccessFactors or the production instance, by our SAP integration flows. We already have them, so we can integrate in one day. And let's, for instance, pick out the IT department we have built with the IT department from the company, from the customer. We have built the first job family. All job roles, all job levels are already there with skills. And
Mhm.
then it typically takes us one working day to implement that into SuccessFactors. So it's not a huge IT implementation project,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
And by doing that, you can start having first experiences of managers, of employees in growth portfolio, in the performance tool, in the goals module of SuccessFactors within a few months. And by
yeah.
doing that, you can create success stories very quickly. And
Mhm.
like this really spreads around in the company, and then other areas are also approaching you. So I would always recommend to start small and then to scale, because like scaling and reproducing the data,
Yeah.
that's really fast with AI.
Absolutely. Start small, but start now. Those are some amazing capabilities, and there are many success factors partners out there. So let's talk about what truly sets CoBrainer apart. You have already talked about some of those amazing capabilities that you have, but in an ecosystem filled with system integrators, the SIs, the advisory firms, the technical specialists, what is uniquely co-brainer? Is it your skills intelligence depth, that ability to infer skills from different sources, your methodology, your AI capability, uh, your BTP based technology, or your focus on outcomes?
We're not a consulting company, we're a technology company. We provide a system, and with the system, we enable companies to build the job and skill architecture. Obviously, we support them along the way, but basically, we enable them to build that for them on their own with the help of AI in our system,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
And so what truly sets us apart, like the core technology we have built or we are building since 2012 our Cobrainer skills graph with the skills relations. So that's basically still our core technology as of today. And by combining that with the job architecture tool, we have like very good skill data, very good job architecture data, and we combine that and bring that via our BTP integration into job profile builders. And basically you can have the data ready for an enterprise customer within like half a year up to a year. So very, very fast.
And when customers, I mean, this is for my SAP SuccessFactors customers, when you are evaluating partners for skills and for talent intelligence hub initiatives, I think it's very important to understand those core capabilities of all those partners because there are some uniquely key things about each partner, like you just mentioned about Cobrainer. I still love that compliance part though. I know I might come back and ask you on that later. But let's talk about the future, the roadmap, the innovations as the market shifts towards the skills based organization becoming more common. Where are you spending your money in your innovation roadmap?
I have to come back to the San Francisco story again. Skills
Yeah,
like have become more important than ever. And it's not that skills are suddenly important out of nowhere. No, it's because of AI and the
yeah.
development with it. So data is already the foundation for most of the processes in every organization. With the evolution of AI, of new models, new agents hitting the market, it becomes essential to set up your organization as a skill-based foundation. Really, I want to highlight this again, like this is becoming even more important if you look into the next few years. Like with that answer, you can maybe also think about, so where are we spending our time and money in developing? So I think that's something really interesting. Mm, Everyone is using probably some agents,
Yeah.
but this will be even more important for the future.
The agentic AI, that is definitely going to be the next big thing in the next couple of years. And any organization who's not going to use any form of agents, they will be left behind for sure.
With you.
I think for a closing segment, to wrap up, what's a common misconception you hear from customers about starting their talent intelligence hub journey? And what advice would you give them instead?
But two really stand out all the time, I would say. And for the first one, I sometimes draw a picture for customers. So let's assume Talent Intelligence Hub is a sports car, it's a Ferrari. When you activate the Talent Intelligence Hub, you're essentially parking a Ferrari in front of your door. So, but you have a Ferrari and you do not have the fuel, you're not going to drive anywhere, right? So the data is the fuel for the Ferrari. And the data really determines whether you drive or not and also how fast you drive. To sum that up, while you're activating the TIH or while you're on your like SAP rollout strategy, you need to start building up your data that once you have the Ferrari in front of your door, you're able to fuel the car right away because you want to drive it.
Data is the secret sauce. I mean, not just for Talent Intelligence Hub, but for any AI based processes or any AI based initiative. If the data isn't correct, the recommendations are not going to work correctly. So, data is definitely the secret sauce. And I like that analogy. I'm going to steal that from you. I'm going to use
Yeah.
that.
Like maybe some of the listeners already heard that story before from me, but
Yeah,
I still like it. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Second misconception I just wanted to add,
Yeah.
it's not taking years to build that data foundation. A lot of people are still thinking that because like they had huge consulting projects and building a job architecture for 24, 36 months. So, but it doesn't take that long anymore. Time has changed and you can do it within months up to a year maybe for a whole enterprise. So it's not that big of a project. And also it's not a huge IT implementation project because that's also what we're hearing all the time. We do not have the resources. You don't need it because we have already built the integration.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Daniel, thank you for your time and those insights. It definitely provides my audience a lot about Cobrainer, your capabilities, what you are working towards. And I appreciate your time. The next time you are in the US, let's plan to meet.
I will be at Unleash mid-March, so I'm not sure when you will publish the recording.
I'm planning to publish this second week of March, but thanks the audience. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay golden. Have a good one.